Hi everyone, so welcome to today's video. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to play around with some new products. I recently placed an order at Ulta for some skincare products. Naturium is a skincare line that I've used before. I've used their products on and off for over a year, and they're now available through Ulta stores and Ulta.com. So I bought some stuff to replenish some things that I was empty on with my skincare products, and just a few other things that I wanted to purchase. And of course, I went down the rabbit hole of checking out what's new, because I tend to do that very often. Check the what's new section on the Ulta website or app, and I found a few new things. So we're gonna play with all these things. I also have a tool that is, to me, very gimmicky looking. I don't even know if this is gonna work out, but we're going to try it. I have nothing on my face except skincare. I did that a few hours prior to filming, and I also went ahead and did my brow gel. I'm gonna link everything and list it for you in case you're curious about anything that I'm using today. We've got some new things. We've got something new from L'Oreal. We've got something new from Milani, Revlon, and I pulled some other things in my collection that I wanted to show some love to, some products to use with this new, somewhat gimmicky to me, tool. We'll get into it. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So pull out your makeup goodies and let's go ahead and get ready together. Before I go in with my foundation, I do want to use a little bit of primer. I'm going to use the L'Oreal Prime Lab. I have this tiny little small one. It was a gift with purchase with an Ulta order months back. And this is actually a very good primer for helping with smoothing out the skin and the look of the pores. So I really enjoy it. I do plan on buying this in full size when I run out of this small one. Now that the primer is nicely blended, I'm going to go in with some foundation. But here's where one of the new products in today's lineup is going to come into play and hopefully work out. In my mind, I can see this being the answer to a problem I have. So Milani has these new Conceal and Perfect SunKisser Liquid Bronzing Drops. This is shade number 130 Dark. This is the one with copper peptides and hyaluronic acid, so it's got some skincare benefits to it. But as you can tell from the cap, it is pretty dark. And I bought this with the thought in mind of darkening up my foundations. I have tons of bronzing drops, and when I did the one brand for Milani several weeks ago, I mentioned that they have this available as a new release, but I didn't have it for the video, and I hadn't really thought about purchasing it because I have a lot of bronzing drops. But I'm finding, as I'm comparing the bronzing drops that I have, they're all very similar, and they're all kind of like a medium bronze type of shade. I don't have anything really dark, and I've gotten some more sun over the summer, and those other lighter bronzing drops, I have to use so much of it, and I feel like my ratio of bronzing drops to foundation was never really balanced. It was more bronzing drops than foundation, and I was just having to do a lot of mixing. So I thought if I start off with something a little bit deeper, then I would have to use less of it to get the right tone for my foundation. Pulled the e.l.f. I wanted to give this another go, the Soft Glam Satin Foundation. I have this in a couple shades. I picked the lightest in my collection, and it's number 15, Fair Warm. So we're gonna do a mixing action of these two. Here's a swatch of what the 130 Dark in the bronzing drops from Milani looks like. As you can see, it is quite dark, and I think it's definitely gonna work to darken my foundation for me. All right, so I'm gonna take just a little drop of the Soft Glam Foundation from e.l.f. This is one that I haven't really used as much as I thought. It is really pretty on the skin. I'm gonna mix this with the back end of one of my makeup brushes. It's a really pretty foundation, but it does look a little bit more radiant and dewy on me at the end of the day. So I'm gonna see how this works with the Milani mixed into it and over the primer from L'Oreal, because I have not tried this combination. This is the tone that I got, and that makes that 15W warm shade a lot more doable for my skin tone, because that was really yellow and very light, like really light. So this is definitely working out better for me. Once I added a little touch more foundation, enough to really get a full face application, I feel like this is definitely going to solve this problem for me going forward with the Milani being on the darker side. And I should have just purchased it for that one brand video, and I'm kind of kicking myself for not doing that. I didn't think that it was going to work, and I thought that maybe it would be too dark, but I think it's the right tone for me right now. Here is the foundation applied, and I do really like these drops from Milani. I do think it's going to solve my problems and make just getting myself ready with my makeup routine a lot faster. I just add a drop or two of this into a normal amount of foundation that I would typically be using anyways, and it'll get me to my right shade a lot faster. This is Revlon's dual-ended jelly makeup blender, and it's double-sided. You have a larger blender at the top, and then you have a smaller one at the bottom. And the texture is very jelly-like, very bouncy, so different than anything that I use normally for applying my makeup. So when I saw this, I thought I have to try this. It's $11.99, and I thought, you know, could this really be something that actually works? It's supposed to be able to apply, blend, and diffuse the look of all makeup and be an easier tool for applying products. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna start with the small side, which is ideal for under the eyes. And I'm gonna use this for a corrector and concealer and see how that looks. I'm gonna use a larger side for some blush, some highlight, and maybe some liquid bronzer. We'll see. We're gonna play around with this, but we're gonna start with the smaller side. And I'm gonna use the e.l.f. Putty Brightener. This is the lightest one. It's a light pink shade. And I'm just gonna dip my little tool in here and see, does this tool even pick up product? And it does pick up the product. So I'm gonna see, I'm very interested to see how this sort of feels as far as blending in makeup. So I'm going to tap that brightener. And I'm going to add some on this outer corner here where I have a little bit of discoloration. Okay, so I'm bouncing this in. And with that repetitive bouncing motion, it is blending in the product, but it doesn't feel as soft as using my finger to apply it or a beauty sponge. But it definitely does blend in that corrector just fine. I don't see it being an issue. So this end that I'm using is a good size to get right in here if you have a little bit of darkness. Sometimes that can be hard to reach, especially if you have long nails. I've been letting my nails grow and I've been taking care of them, doing gel manicures and treatments. So sometimes it can get hard to get in there to actually blend in products. So having a small tool is great. That doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be this tool. It could be a brush, it could be a smaller sponge, it could be a smaller puff sponge. I want a little bit of brightness, and keep in mind that these concealers and foundation products don't currently match my new tan skin tone, but I wanted to try using this tool with a full coverage concealer. This is the L'Oreal Infallible concealer. This is claiming to have full coverage, and it is an up to 24-hour wear. So I'm going to use just a tiny dot right over the corrector. Let's make this one a little bit bigger, and then do one on the outer corner a little bit smaller. So I'm going to go in with the larger side, and I'm going to, again, that pouncing motion to really distribute this and blend this right over the corrector from e.l.f. As I'm blending this in and looking really close, I can see some like streaks in the product, which is weird because this doesn't have any streaks. The material is just like that jelly material, but it's soft and it's solid. There's no ridges, there's no grooves, but it does look like it's kind of separating a little bit. I'm not liking this for concealer, so I'm gonna just go in with my damp sponge because this is not looking very good, at least with a full coverage concealer. I think maybe would be better with something a little bit less, like a more medium buildable type of concealer. It might be better. But as you can see with this sponge, it blended this in really easily. It took away those lines and the kind of patchiness, and it almost looked like the concealer was separating as I was blending. And I think it's because of this tool, and you can see that there is quite a bit of product on my tool. There, you can see. Do you see that? And it does look like it's somewhat separating a little bit. Maybe that's just the way my skin texture is. So it's really not the best. I don't know. I think this may be just for kind of like pinpointing, more like spot concealing maybe. I just feel like this for concealer is just a little too much work, too much time being spent on it that I don't think is necessary. I did like the small side for the corrector because that's more of just kind of pinpointing specific spots under the eye for correction, whereas this, trying to use it to cover, I don't like the way it makes the concealer sit under the eyes. Off camera, I set my under eyes with the Fit Me powder from Maybelline in the Fair Light, and I use my Sonia Kashuck powder puff. I just kind of pressed that on top of my concealer. Whatever was left on my puff, I just went right through the T-zone, just like this. I did not put any powder in this area because I still need to do my cream products with this jelly blender. So I picked a bronzer from my collection that is easy to work with. One of my absolute favorite cream bronzing formulas that I have tried over the course of trying makeup, of the products that I own, the Milani Cheek Kiss Bronzer is incredible. It's a very luxurious performing product. I love this tone. The Hey Honey is a great shade. This never fails me. So if this doesn't work out with this tool, then I know definitely this tool is just not it. I'm just kind of dabbing to pick up the product. I will show you what this looks like. So that's what we're working with now. Do you see how it looks on that jelly tool? So let's go ahead and kind of blend a little bit. This may be good for placement, like I mentioned earlier, as far as getting your contour right where you want it, which is in the hollows of the cheekbone, kind of following the top part of your ear, coming down a little bit. But then to blend, I feel like I'd have to work a lot harder to blend that stripe out, so it doesn't look like basically product is just in a weird placement. Does that make sense? Like, I would have to kind of, I don't know, I just feel like this is much more work than is necessary. So far, I mean, I think it's okay. It's not the worst thing. I would rather, if I had a choice, I would rather just use my fingers, to be honest, if I didn't have another tool to use. I'm going to keep building this up just ever so slightly, picking up a bit more product and building this. And it's definitely taking more time to do. It's not something that is going to streamline the process of getting ready. I would have already been done working on this other side if I would have used my sponge, another tool, a brush, anything else but this. All right, so this is what we've got going on so far. I've definitely layered this up a little bit to get a little bit more color and to spread this product on a larger area because I didn't want to just do some contouring. I wanted to use this as my bronzer today. It definitely blended the edges and this product is blended. I do have a patch right in through here that it's not wanting to blend for me, so I've tried to kind of make it work. I'm just gonna let it be. It's whatever, it's fine. I was able to use this tool to diffuse around the edge so it kind of melts and blends more seamlessly into my foundation, so that's a good thing. But it just takes a lot of time and I don't feel like this size is large enough. If this was a larger surface area to work with, I think it would probably yield a better result and I probably would be more inclined to use this in the future. But I just feel like, I don't know, it doesn't give me a wow effect at the end. But I'm going to use this on the other side with my normal application method, which is a brush. And then we're going to do some blush. I would say if you're looking for a tool that can really apply product, blend, give you seamless results time after time, just get the Complexion Duo Brush from e.l.f. This brush is less than this tool and you can do much more with this and get a better result and makeup application than you would with something like that. If I had to give you any advice and point you into one tool that can do it all, this is where it's at. I'm going to apply the same sort of idea behind the bronzer with my blush. I'm going to choose a formula that I have used before that is easy to work with, isn't fussy. I pulled the SunKisser blushes from Maybelline. I only own one shade. This is the Downtown Rush. And it's a really pretty kind of peachy shade and it gives that kind of, I don't know, goldeny look to the skin. I like this formula a lot. It's very similar to the new blushes from L'Oreal, the Lay Liquid Blushes. I've reviewed both of these already. I will link to some videos if you're curious about this formula. I'm going to work off of a makeup palette as I often do. I'm going to put the products on a palette. I'm going to show you how much I'm picking up. Very small amount. And I'm going to start tapping in circular motions and then doing kind of like a layering method with a little bit of product just to slowly build this up so I don't totally wreck everything I've already done. Okay, I'm treading softly here. This blender feels a little bit firm as you're kind of balancing it against the skin. It's not as soft as using the sponge. And I keep referencing the sponge just as an FYI because this is my preferred method for applying product. Most of my routine is done with this one tool. So I'm going to blend right in here. I got my blush a little too high up here, so I'm going to fix that. But I feel like for blush, it wasn't too bad. Is it my favorite still? No. But it's not that bad. I feel like I like it better for blush because for blush, you kind of want it to just be more strategic and in a smaller location versus, let's say, bronzer. So I feel like this for blush is fine. And then to place contour, I think I can see myself using this tool for that. Blush is done on both sides. And I'm going to say the one thing that I'm impressed with is that this blender did not lift anything underneath. As I was applying my blush, it looks very smooth, very blurred right over the cream bronzer and the foundation. It didn't disrupt blending closer to my concealer, so I'll give it that. I do like it for blush, and specifically liquids and cream blushes. I think it'll be fine. Let's do some highlights before I do any sort of finishing powder. I'm going to use the Butter Glow highlighter from Physicians Formula, and I'm going to use that larger side of the tool to pinpoint and highlight the tops of my cheekbone. So this is the amount that I'm picking up. As you can see, when I do put this tool into the product off of my makeup palette, it does kind of move around just because this is a more liquidy formula. So I'm going to just tap ever so slightly to kind of distribute this highlighter first. And then I'm going to continue tapping to then blend this out. Because when you put the product on the back of your hand or a makeup palette and you dip this into there, this is what you get. And I think that that is just too much to start, depending on the formula, of course. But if I were to put this on, that would be way too much. So I'm having to take that off onto a paper towel and then just lightly do tiny little taps to pick up the product. So I think this is probably better for more, I would say, more cream textured highlighters, not something so liquidy like this one from Physicians Formula, because it picks up way too much and I don't need that much. But that blended out nicely. Look at that. Let's go around the brow bone. Let's pick up a little bit more and go around the temples. Actually, let's do that small side. That small side would be good for applying highlighter to the tops of the nose, the tip of the nose. The small side could be for contour, getting that product placed. So there is some ways that you can make this tool work, but I wouldn't rely on this entirely for blending. It's more for placement of product. Off camera, I went ahead and took care of a few different things. So I'm going to talk you through the eye look. I did a little bit of the Revlon Skin Lights bronzer in the crease, and then for the eyeshadow, it's a very light, soft, kind of sparkly shade. It's from Moira. It's the Star Show Shadow Pot in the shade Showtime, which is really pretty. It's one of those really intense, glittery pressed pigments. I used my finger and I dabbed it all over the lid from inner corner to outer corner. And then I use the Revlon Colorstay eyeliner, the Twist Up Automatic ones in the black brown shade. And then I use the smudger that's on the end, and I smudged it to create a bit of a smoky look. So that's all I've done off camera. The next product is one that I want to do before applying my mascara and lip products. It's a new setting spray. So L'Oreal has the new Infallible 3-second setting mist. I saw this on the Ulta website and I thought, I've got to try this. It says up to 36 hours. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not wearing my makeup for 36 hours. I never do. I tend to wear my makeup for a good 12 hours, sometimes 13 hours, depending on what I've got going on and how early I get myself ready in the day. So we're going to test this out just as I normally would any makeup product. I'm not going to do the 36 hours because that just sounds like it's just too much and would not be good for my skin. I'm going to give it a good shake. On the back, it says our first setting spray that makes your makeup defy transfer. That's a pretty bold claim there, L'Oreal. Locks in makeup wear up to 36 hours. Waterproof, sweat resistant, clothes resistant, smudge resistant, phone resistant. I've definitely got to try this. A micro diffusing system, lightweight, non-sticky, won't mark or ruin makeup, natural finish. So it all sounds really good, right? I would say the bottle is quite small. It's 1.76 ounces. So I thought it was going to be a little bit bigger, but looking at it in person, it does seem quite small. So you can see the difference in the sizes of the components. This is a typical sprayer that you have like a spray nozzle. Let me take the cap off. So there you go. And this one looks like hairspray. And maybe that's what it is. Hairspray for your face, right? So there is a difference in the way this looks. It looks a little smaller. May not show truly on camera, but in person, this does look quite small. And it is much more expensive. It is L'Oreal, and they tend to be a little bit more expensive than most drugstore brands, but that's okay. We're doing some research here. We're gonna just shake this up, and I'm gonna spray this evenly, let it kind of sit and dry, and then we'll kind of go back and do some mascara. I do want to show you a new lip product though, also from Revlon. I feel like I just put actual hairspray on my face. Well, you don't want to open your mouth. No, this doesn't taste very good. It smells exactly like hairspray. So we'll have to see with this setting spray if it actually keeps my makeup in place for the entire day, as I often would wear my makeup for the normal length of time. I'm glad that I did pair it with the Soft Glam Foundation from e.l.f. because this one does get dewier as the day goes on for me personally. And by the end of the day, I do look very shiny, especially in these hot, warm temperatures. I feel like this one from e.l.f. doesn't really have a lot of longevity for me. So I'm excited to see how this setting mist is going to prolong this. If this looks like this at the end of the day, then I'm going to continue using this spray with this foundation. I will say once the mist was dry, I don't really feel anything on my face. I was kind of concerned after I sprayed it, feeling like I did spray hairspray directly onto my face, that it was going to feel tight and dry. Like if I smiled too hard, it was going to crack and feel weird, but it doesn't. It feels totally normal, and it dried down almost instantly, whereas more like watery consistencies tend to need a little bit more of a dry down. That kind of dried very, very quickly. I don't like the way it tastes, but that's because I started talking. Next time I won't do that. So I'm going to finish off the eyes. I'm going to use the Maybelline Firework mascara, and then I'm going to show you the new Revlon lip product. For today's lip, I want to use one of Revlon's newest additions to their lip products. It's the Colorstay Limitless Matte Lip product. This is a liquid lip. I chose one shade 005 Strut. So out of the lineup, which is really pretty, when you look at the display at Ulta, it looks really nice. This one is the coolest pink tone that they offer, and I have been into cool pinks for a while now, and I thought I would just try a shade that I just naturally gravitated towards, which was this one. This is the Longwear Lip Liner. So I think I may just draw a little bit around the edge just to define my lip line a little bit, and maybe kind of ground this down, this tone, since this is quite of a cool pink, with a little bit more of a sort of natural kind of nude. I don't know, in my mind it's going to work out. We'll see. So I'm going to just do a quick lip line. If you have not tried this formula from Revlon, I highly recommend that you do. The next time you go shopping for some drugstore products, just pick one of these. They have a few shades to choose from. The nude is what I'm wearing today, and it's just easy. It's one of my go-tos from this line. I love this formula. They're soft, they're creamy, but they stay on. They don't feel drying, they don't feather and migrate out of the lip lines, and this shade is perfection. Do you see this applicator? It's quite different, honestly. I've never seen an applicator like this for a liquid lip. So I wiped the applicator off a little bit better so you guys can see what this looks like. Do you see the shape? It is definitely different, quite unique than what you typically see for lip products, even liquid lipsticks, and I like that shape. I think it's going to be really great, especially that point for getting right precise with the product itself, right around the edge of your lip line. And the front side, which may be hard to tell, it's more of like a flat shape, almost looks like an iron type of shape, where it's a little bit wider and then it comes to a point. So let's go ahead and apply this cool tone color. I like this applicator. I can already tell that this is a win. This actually hugs the natural curve of your lips, and it just goes so nicely against your lip. And that color is so pretty. I think that this applicator is quite genius. I have to hand it to Revlon. They do lip products very, very well, and that shade is really pretty. But I will say that once you put this on and you press your lips together, if it's not completely dry, it starts to lift. I don't know if the camera's going to show this. Right in through here. Do you see that? It's already lifting because I put my lips together. So you want to put this on and kind of leave your lips a little bit open so that it dries before you press your lips together. As this Revlon lip product is drying on my lips, I can see how it's just sitting and in the lines of my lips, and it's making my lips look even more dry than they were initially. I had a very minimal amount of lip balm that was honestly probably already worn off. So my lips weren't excessively dry, chapped, or peeling, and this is just not looking as good. I feel like as it's drying down, it's making my lips look very shriveled and more like a raisin, and that's not the vibe. Like, I don't... Here is the end result. What I ended up doing for the lip is going over it with the Super Lustrous The Gloss from Revlon. This is actually a really nice formula as well. The shade is 203 Lean In, and it's a little bit of a lighter, kind of frosty, shimmery pink. And I feel like that definitely added a little bit more of a gloss, added back the hydration that my lips were needing and craving. and it made the formula feel a lot more comfortable for me. And it also helped kind of fill in the lines, blending it in. I used a lip brush to apply that lip gloss over the top. And these two together is a much doable combination. I don't see myself using this again on its own unless I really prep and hydrate with this in mind of using it for the day, using some extra steps to kind of prep my lips a little bit better. So another thing that I noticed with this Revlon product is that it is transferring onto my teeth. As I've been talking, I've had to check that and take it off with a paper towel. So that's something that I don't like, and it's probably because I did put the gloss on. But I wanted to quickly note that if you mix this formula and put too much of this on and mix it with a gloss, it does move around a little bit. I've had to clean around the edges of my lip line and, like I said, remove it off my teeth. So it's something to note. So that, in combination with what I had previously said about the formula, just makes me like it even less than I did, because I just feel like that's just too fussy. Imagine putting this on and then going somewhere, going to work, or, you know, talking to someone, and then it's all over your teeth. Like, not a good look, right? I don't know. I just don't really care for it. So that's it. That's my thoughts on the new Revlon matte formula. As far as the setting spray, I will have to let you know in the wear notes, expand the description box, and I'll let you know if my makeup changed. I did enjoy the Milani product. I will continue to use this. This is going to solve that problem of having foundations that do not match me. So I'm excited to finally have that in my collection. And then finally, this new jelly blender tool from Revlon. I do think that this is better for placement of contour, for blending your blush, maybe a liquid or cream highlight. Mostly cream highlights though. I would say it's an ideal kind of tool to use if you didn't want to use a brush or your finger. In general, I do think that this is quite gimmicky. I don't think this is necessary. I don't think that the end result was something that completely wowed me, where I feel like I have to recommend this to someone. I think if you want to try it, go for it. You may enjoy it. We have different preferences. But to me, it just seems a little bit more gimmicky, a little bit more work than is necessary. There was more cons for this than pros for me, and I just don't see myself recommending it. I will try it again and use it with different formulas. Who knows? I may find that magic combo of formula with this tool, and it might be a great thing sometime down the road. But right now, initially, using it for as many steps as I could possibly incorporate this into my routine, I just didn't feel like it was worthwhile. I don't know. It's just gimmicky. Did you try it? Are you going to try it? Is this something that you're even interested in? Let me know. And that, my friends, wraps up this video using the new products that I picked up recently at the drugstore. I will let you know in the description box, so expand that. There's going to be a section, wear notes, in all caps, so you can read how everything turned out. Everything will be listed and linked for you down below. Let me know what you think of these products. Are you interested in trying them? Have you already tried them? I would love to hear your experience with these products. Thanks for being here, for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this in the future. You can follow me on Instagram. It pops up here on the screen. I look forward to connecting with you there. Take care, you guys, and we'll talk very soon. Bye-bye.